What's up, people? I am back for another video. Today, happy Friday the 13th. So, I'm still going to be doing super bad, but I'm probably going to do that in the evening now. I'll save that for the evening. But today, we're going to be ranking the Jason actors, specifically the Jason actors. I know like a couple years ago, I ranked the Jasons specifically from the films. So this isn't going to be the same thing. I'm ranking specifically the actors, minus I think it's Ari like Lemon or something like that. I forgot his name. I'm not counting him because he's the Jason from Part One. You see for 2 seconds because that's not a character, and I can't really judge. That was a cool scene, but I just like besides that, he just jumps out the lake and grabs at Alice. So I I don't really think there's much to say for that. So I'm gonna just not count him. So I'm talking about the actors who have been Jason in like the Jason we know, like the ones that's killing. So starting from two and on. Um, so I'm thinking about doing the same video, but for Michael Myers, unless I did it already. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I did it already. I'll look and see if I did it already. If not, maybe next month we'll do that for Halloween. But to me, one of the things the actors for Jason and Michael, I really think what makes them unique is you're playing a character who can't talk, and it's more about your physicality, right? But we all still know Kane Hodder, who obviously is going to be very high up on my list. It's the thing is, but they play this character who can't talk, and that's what makes them unique. It's same with Michael Myers actors. It's you're playing a man who can't talk, and you have to make you to stand out. You have to the way you just the little details you put into the character, like with Michael specifically, like the head tilt and just the movement. But even with Jason, that's the same kind of thing. Like that's the way to show, okay, this is the unique Jason actor, is the little details they put into the character with how they move because you can't talk. It's not like with Chucky, even with fucking Brad Dourif, or Freddy with Robert Englund, minus like Jackie or Haley, but for the most part, those two characters largely were Chucky to this day has still only really been one person because we all to the. I mean, yeah, I forgot about Mark Hamill. Most people fucking forget Mark Hamill voiced Chucky, so it's almost like no one else did it. So, but for the most part, those two characters are played by largely one person, or to the audience, they're known by one person. Where Jason and Michael have been recast, but what makes them unique is they may not talk, and you have to more count on their almost like physical charisma in a way, right? The way they move. So that's gonna be a lot of things I'm gonna be talking about here. And yeah, I wanted to do something Jason related because it was Friday the 13th, but I'm like, I already reviewed like pretty much all the movies, so it's like, what else can I do? So we'll do this. Like I said, in the evening, Super Bad. I watched it last night. Super Bad is still so fucking funny. It's like Tropic Thunder. It's just one of those really. It was perfect time. It's a good coming of age story too. Like it's one of my favorite kind of like films that are like kind of like American Pie. Like that's in high school. Granted, it's not a group of. I guess it's kind of a group of friends. Fogel, Jonah Hill and Michael Cera. And this is actually one of my favorite Michael Cera movies where he's actually funny. He isn't just awkward dude. Like the scene where they're just roasting him from the McLovin scene where he when he gives him he shows him the card and it has McLovin. It's still one of the funniest scenes. And it's just a genuinely just fun movie. Like, and yeah, fucking bitch ass Seth Rogen's in it, but I gotta be honest, he's still good in it. It's still a fucking great. Granted, I do think he's carried, but yeah. But anyways, guys, let's get into this Friday the 13th ranking or Jason actor ranking. So there's technically been, I think it's 6. It'd be 6 or 7 Jason actors. I'm not counting the one who has like the scene where he pops out as a kid. Not counting that one. So we're gonna go from bottom up. So bottom up, number 6. Or just start. We're not gonna number them. I was gonna say the actor. From the bottom, we start with Warrington Gillette, I think is his name, or Gillette. He was the Jason in this, or Sackhead Jason from part two. And for me, it just, the reason he's at the bottom is just because, as much as I do like the Sackhead look, I think it was done better in the remake. I think he was too dopey at times, and I do think there were some great kills, but a lot of it was from behind and out of nowhere, right? But the moment we get to the chase, it just, he kind of becomes dopey. Yeah, Jason is obviously, he's a little bit mentally deficient, right? But I do think there's still a little bit of level of intelligence in the later films and the way he moves and stuff that I just didn't like in this. The scene, I just watched it, so it's just like fresh in my mind. I love part two, but that is one thing I don't really like is, and then the weird hillbilly outfit, the scene where he's on the fucking chair and the chair just breaks. It's like, come on. I do really do dig the scene where, and I just also didn't really feel like he played it uber uniquely either. I think that was the problem, the other problem I had with it. I didn't feel like his Jason really stood out in the way he played him compared to some of the other actors I'm about to name. So I would say he was okay. I'm not saying he's bad, and I still really love part two. Part two is like definitely upper echelon of Friday the 13th films. It's just the way he specifically played it, just compared. So that's the bottom. Next up, we have Ken Kersinger from Jason, Freddy versus Jason. He actually, this is a funny thing. Ken Kersinger, so I guess this technically would be number 5. Um, he was in a Jason film with fucking Kane Hodder, Freddy Jason Takes Manhattan. He was like the guy who gets thrown through a window. That was him. But Ken Kersinger, he's one who gets ragged on a lot by some of the Jason fandom, and to an extent, I get it because a lot of people wanted Kane Hodder for Freddy versus Jason instead of him, and to an extent, it would have made more sense for it to be Kane Hodder because up until that point, that was Jason. Like by that point, he had been Jason for close to double-digit years by this point because he was Jason since '88. So I get it. So I understand, but I thought Ken Kersinger did okay. He did a good job at what they were going for. They went for more like this Frankenstein Jason. I don't love the design. I think the design's okay. It is kind of generic, like if I saw someone say if AI made a Jason design, it would be that one, and I kind of agree. Like it's not terrible, it's all right, but just compared to some of the other designs in the franchise, it's not that great. But I thought he played him great. I thought the scene in the cornfield where he's just killing everybody was pretty well done. And Jason gets a lot of good carnage moments in the film. Some of the kills are a little ridiculous, like when he's slicing people and they're flying and shit. That took me out of it a little bit, but I thought for the most part, Ken Gerzinger played the part well enough. At least he stood out as Jason. So that'd be, now I guess, yeah, this would be number 5. Ken Kersinger. Number 3, no, 4. Number 4 is we're skipping is Richard Brooker. Richard Brooker from part 3. He is I thought, now we're getting to the upper echelon now for me. And no, number 5. I got it right because it's 7 because I am missing one. Yeah, so it'd be number 5. All right, I got the ranking wrong. So technically, yeah, Richard Brooker would be Ken Gersinger would be number 6. So number 5, Richard Brooker. He was Jason in part 3, which I'm actually currently watching right now. I just paused it. I actually really dig his Jason. The film's okay. It has some problems, but it's an alright one. It's a pretty decent, like, Jason killing people. Richard Brooker plays him pretty unique. He's a pretty big dude, too. So it works. You have some really good kills here. Even the makeup looks really good. You can still recognize his face. This is the film, obviously, where Jason gets the iconic hockey mask. And I really think he nailed nails it, just being that Jason that's gonna be the Jason we all know in the later films, you know? So I really think Richard Brooker nails it, and yeah. Or some have called him Stoner Jason because there's pictures of him on set, like just smoking, apparently, which is pretty base. So it's a perfect one. You know, as a good final act. You know, I think it improves part three in the sense Jason specific. I still think part two is a better film. Probably, I'll agree. Like part two is a better film than part three, but I think Jason specifically, Jason's better in part three for sure. So number five, Richard Brooker. Number four, Derek Mears from Freddy versus Jason. No, from the remake. In my opinion, he really stood out. The fact, for crazy thing, he's in one. A lot of these Jasons, besides Kane Hodder, were only Jason once. But of the ones who have been him once, I would probably say he's the best. Besides Ted White, who's my number one. I do think he is the fact that just being a one film, his Jason stood out, and I like even though Friday part the remake is very much just Friday parts 2 through 4, just kind of mixed together, or a little bit of one because they do show you the origin story or the part where Pamela gets killed. But yeah, it's like 1 through 4 put together. But I think this film really nails it. The way he does it, the way he runs, the physicality of him. Even like one of my favorite things. I'm sorry, I think they improved the sleeping the sack over his head. I think he looks better with the sack in this one than he did in part two because he was brutal. That opening scene where he has the sack on is pretty brutal, and then he finds the hockey mask is well done. He gets a pretty good violence. I thought Derek Mears, the way he moved, the way he did stuff, his Jason was unique. So I would have him higher, but just compared to some of the other ones, I have to have him a little lower. But yeah. My number 3 is CJ Graham from Jason Lives Part 6. My favorite film, but just compared to the other two, I just think they had a little bit of a bigger impact for Jason. But I do think CJ Graham really does nail being the first of the undead Jason or zombie Jason. I love his look in the film. I thought he does a really good job. That opening scene when he just like punches through the dude's chest, he really nailed the like hulking zombie Jason. Just the scenes where you just see him just walking through the through Crystal Lake in the woods. It just looks so good. Yeah, Jason Lives obviously is a bit more on the meta side and isn't necessarily trying to be scary, but I still think CJ Graham, even with the little light, like I'm not gonna say lighthearted, but a little bit more of the comedy, a little bit tone of part 6, I still really do feel like they nail him being scary. Like even the scene, his first real kill when he has the hockey mask on, when he kills these people heading to the camp. Or the if you might recognize the guy, one of the guys he kills, the guy he kills is the villain from Ghost. I thought that scene was very well done. I actually thought, for like obviously going for a more lighthearted film, it still, that scene specifically I thought really does feel a little bit scary. So I overall thought CJ Graham really nails it. Even like one of my fucking favorite scenes is when the guy shoots the paintball at him and Jason just looks down and then just looks up and starts speed walking a little bit towards him. It's so well done. It is fucking great. So CJ Graham, I had to put at number 3. He really nailed it. So, but number 2, of course, is Kane Hodder. Arguably, Kane Hodder is Jason to a lot of people. I don't blame people who would probably say he is Jason. It's just the only thing that Ted White edges him out on is probably more specifically one, I think, has a better film, and then is scarier. Because I'm a horror guy. I do prefer when horror movies do try to be scary. But Kane Hodder, I don't blame people who have him for being number 1. The way he just knows the character, you just see him in interviews and just talk him and hear him talk at cons. he knows the character like the back of his fucking hands, which is fucking great. It's just kind of great to see an actor appreciate the character and the way he just nails the look of Jason. He does have my favorite design of Jason, which is from part 7, which, granted, I don't love the movie. That's the only part of the reason I do have him at 2 is I don't like, I'm going to keep it real, I don't like a lot of the Kane Hodder Jason movies. Aside from, the only one I really like, which is funny enough, is the one a lot of people hate, is Jason X. That's like the only one I really like. I don't love part 7. I think there's some decent points in it, some decent kills. Unfortunately, MPA kind of fucked up, so there's a lot of kills that just get cut pretty quick. But I prefer, even I've seen there's unedited, you can see the unedited kills on like YouTube. There's a version of it, but it's like very choppy. It's like rough. But they'll, even with that, I don't love the whole telekinesis aspect. That's what holds 7 down for me. And I don't really love the ending. And then part 8 is Jason on a boat. I can watch it and have fun with it, but it's not good. And then Jason Goes to Hell is a fucking pile of shit. It's not a Jason film. It's basically an Evil Dead movie that just, it's Jason for the start of it, and then it, for some reason, goes to like Evil Dead, and then it's Jason again. It's not good. I've never liked Jason Goes to Hell. I've never seen it since the first time I watched it. I never want to watch that one again. So for me, that's the only thing that holds Hodder down, is that I've only really liked the one film, and that was Jason X. So that's the only thing that kind of holds him from being number 1 for me. But Kane Hodder is Jason. The way he moves, the way he looks, just, and the fact he is played Jason the most. Like, even up to, like, he started in 1988 with, Jason with part 7, New Blood. And then the last one was in 2001 with Jason X. That was a long time. That's at least double-digit years right there. Or close to, anyway. Like, that was a while he played Jason for, until basically 2003 when they replaced him with Ken Kurzinger. So that's a long time. So I had to put him at number 2 at least. He couldn't, I think anything less would just not be fair. The way he has impact on the character, even if I don't love some of the films. So, anyways. And on to number 1. Ted White from Friday the 13th, the final chapter, or part 4, the final chapter. Which, to me, part 6 is my favorite because that's the one I rewatched the most, but part 4 probably objectively is the better film, and the way it is the scariest Jason. I think it nails Ted White, who, it's immediately following 3, so he's basically supposed to be like Brooker's Jason. I think he took it and ran with it. I love the look, especially with the new improved hockey mask where it has like the chip on the side, because if you remember in the ending of part 3, Chris hits him with the axe, so the axe chips the hockey mask. And the kills were great. That final act, Richard Brooker, the way he arranges the bodies, when Tommy's sister goes to the house, and just the kills were brutal. He played Jason with, like, he just, to me, stood out. Like, that's what, and the way he was lit, even the shot of him just breaking through the window, grabbing at Tommy is pretty scary. Like, that's why, to me, just the lighting, everything about the way Ted White played Jason, to me, is why he's my number 1. He, to me, is the scariest Jason. I could see an argument for Derek Mears, but to me, even over Derek Mears, he just had the lighting. He just had everything right about that classic Friday the 13th. Even the scene of that shot where I think it's one of the twins were going home, and she's getting on like her bike, and you have the lightning flash, and Jason, you see a shadow of Jason just behind her, and like about to hit her with the machete. It's just so well done. Ted White really just nails it. So, to me, yeah. So, makes sense. He's number 1 for me. But, yeah, this was fun. I've been kind of wanting to do I'm hoping I did not do this with the Michael Myers actors. I have a feeling I did, but I'll look. If I didn't, I'm definitely going to do that this next month. Though I do have Halloween related plans for next month. Um, I'll announce them. I already kind of said it. I think I said it a while ago that the plan is. If you remember, I did the Jurassic World trilogy rewrites. I'm thinking about doing. I'm not thinking about. I'm going to do that with Halloween. The most recent David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy. I'm gonna do my own rewrites of the 2018. There is gonna be one big massive change throughout it though that I'm gonna work on, but I'm gonna start doing those next month. The plan is kind of doing them weekly, like I did the Jurassic World ones. So that's the plan. So if I don't do the Michael Myers actors, which I have a feeling I did do already, but I'm gonna see just to make sure. If not, then I'll also be doing that next month. But anyways, guys, later tonight, Super Bad review, which is gonna be fun. Next week we're gonna do Tropic Thunder. I know I forgot. I thought I did. I thought in my mind I did already, but no, I didn't. I haven't done it yet. We'll do that next week. But definitely we'll do Super Bad tonight. Um, I saw that Speak No Evil movie is up. That new movie with James McAvoy. It's a horror movie. I saw a trailer for it. It looks interesting. I'm like, maybe this could be like Split. We'll see. Not like in the plot, but like in him being like a creepy kind of killer kind of thing. If that's what it is, I'm hoping that's what it is. And you got me, so I'll check it out. It's up, so I'll probably be watching that tomorrow. And depending on how I feel about it, I'll be reviewing that. If not, I'll figure out. Maybe I'll look for like another screenwriting article, see what they've fucking said, and said anything stupid, and we'll do a screenwriter's gay this weekend. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get ready to wrap it here. All right, good. Deal. Talk to y'all later. Pin Down Podcast tomorrow. Link in the description. Peace.